you did bring up a topic, or you asked me a question the other day, and I'm going to have you kind of introduce this and kind of get us the ball rolling. So, Soto, what is on
hmm
your mind, as we like to say?
Yeah, so one thing that I've seen on the internet now for a long time, um, and I see a lot of YouTube videos about it too, um, is just people questioning whether or not like we are living in a simulation. Um, and there's like videos of like birds being stopped or like glitches in the quote unquote matrix. And so I don't know. It's been on my mind as far as like I don't know what's going on with human beings. I don't know if this is just a symptom of the modern society we live in, but like are we like really having this conversation like if we're in a simulation? I'm not saying that the question is bad to ask, but like the videos on here are just so ridiculous. Like the TikToks and everything that I see, it just doesn't make any sense to me. So I'm just wondering because when I asked you about this and when I first sent you this question, your response to me was simply "what?"
What?
with a question mark, which leads me to believe that this was not at all in your realm of like your day-to-day questioning or life or maybe you're outside the loop on this, but I'm
Uh,
wondering what have been your thoughts since I've asked you that question?
well, before we get into this, and I don't want to say the reason the what came about is just because I think we were just having a normal day. And I think I texted you like what was getting ready, some about today, and I think we were
hmm
talking about everything else coming forward. And out of the blue, and I think maybe I was at work, all of a sudden I get a text from you. It's like, "His life is simulation. We should talk about that." And I'm just like, what? Like, I guess it just came out of so fucking left field that
Yeah.
I just did not expect it. It's not how I thought my day would go.
Yeah.
And when you kind of, at least I think it was just you worded it a little bit better, it made more sense out of it. I forgot how I was just like, what's going on? Why are we talking about this? You know, we got shit to do. So, it, yeah, I've seen some of those videos where like it's a weird glitch,
Oh, you
people
have?
disappear. Some of them, and it's been around for years. You're like, hey, this person just, all of a sudden like something passes, and where did that guy go? I know. I don't know. I can explain some of that shit. I just think it's very funny timing. Um, so let me ask you. I No, we're
Sure.
not living in a simulation. I Not like the Matrix, not anything like that. I am sorry. Life is life. I mean, but if I
It's
guess it
way more
depends on.
boring. It's way more boring. I'm sorry. I'm gonna say what I probably you and I are both thinking right now, but life is way more boring. I know that it's boring. I get it. It's like we have to get up, we have to go to work, we have to do our things, we have to pay bills. We didn't choose or opt into this reality, but and it would be really cool if it was The Matrix. Like great
Would
movie.
it? Would it though?
I mean, because you could do kung fu and shit, and you could be like whatever, like a superhero. But reality is just really boring. I'm
But that
sorry.
should tell you we're not
It's
in a
yeah.
simulation. We can't all of a sudden just. We're fucking old, Soto. We are. And
Yes, it's the
we
mileage.
joked about this. We talked about me and my wife going roller skating. This Saturday, and
Yes.
she can do it because she knows how. But if I do it, I fall. I'm breaking a bone. But there's nothing I can implant in my brain that's going to make me a master skater. And I had to
Yeah.
say that very carefully. And
Yeah.
yeah, no, I mean, I'm sorry. We see life coming. It's not like all of a sudden we just pop into this world or something like that. Just I, I don't get it. I don't get how people can believe life is just a simulation. I mean, we go through the same thing day in and day out. Like I said, it's a monotonous, you know, lifestyle. We just go
Yes.
to work, we go home. Some of us play games. Some of us,
Yes.
play board games, watch TV, whatever. That's our
Movies.
lives.
Yeah.
If that's a simulation, so be it. But there's no big overall thought that someone's just watching us, aka The Sims, controlling our lives or whatnot. I just can't. It's just like the earth being flat. I'm sorry. It just doesn't make sense to me. Just give me a scientific explanation. And no, it's not like, again, you want to go back to the Matrix, which I know this
Yeah.
picture is kind of joking at and stuff like that. But
It's a
no,
good movie.
it is a good movie. The first one is. Let's not talk about the next three. And,
Oh, I know. I know. Such
but
disappointment.
all these people that just think life is a simulation, I don't know. I just think I don't. I if they're serious, I'm sorry. Just live your boring life. Find something else to do. Go bird watching, travel
Like I've been
maybe.
doing. Yeah, bird
Um,
watching. Birds aren't real. That was another one of my favorite movements. Although that one ended up being fake, but I love the concept that somebody was trying to do a conspiracy theory that birds, in fact, were just surveillance devices that the government was using to watch us.
all right, Soto. I got a comment here from Carlos. How's it going, Carlos? And I'm going to ask you
Carlos,
this since you're the one that brought up the simulation. So I'm going to read. I don't know if you see this, but
I
if
cannot
life
know.
is a simulation, does it
Yeah.
mean that life is like GTA Online? If so, does that mean rich people are winning the game? Does it mean Kanye West has completed all the DLCs? So,
Oh my
um,
God. Yeah, he totally has. He totally has. Although it took a really dark turn, but
let's not talk about that. Um,
yeah,
Yeah, no, if GTA Online's a simulation, yes, that is simulation because we all go play at that online casino, lose our money, our online money, which some people spend real money on. So maybe
yeah. A lot of
GTA
people do.
Online is like a simulation. They found ways to take our money, and that's just I don't know. But yeah,
Off
Kanye
of
West
yeah.
must have all the DLCs because according to him, he's a motherfucking genius. So yeah.
Everything is like based off just people hacking our dopamine hits, basically, right? Like we see shiny colors and we see all these things and we go, yay! Or like even for me, I see achievement unlocked. I'm like, ooh, yay!
Pizza candy.
I've I've done something, and that little dopamine monkey in my brain is like, yay, do it again. Um, so yeah, maybe. I mean, definitely the people with the money have hacked the game.
That's
Um,
true. They know what they're
I
doing.
kind of live in a city that's like GTA Online.
That's that's
So
true too. I've worked in
it
that
kind
city.
yeah, like if you go to certain parts of where I live, like you'll see crime.
You don't want to
Um,
go. Yeah, I don't want to go to those parts now.
I mean the food is great though. The food is fantastic. So I don't know. I've never played GTA Online. I think it's part of the achievements for GTA 5, right? Like to play it, in order to 100% it, right?
Probably.
It's
I
like
mean,
you have to
they
do. I
must.
don't have the time to do that. I've had a friend that did that platinumed GTA 5, and I don't know how. Like you would ever put. Why would I ever put that much time into a game? So if this life really is a simulation, I only have time for this one. Um, I can't.
Wait,
I
wait.
can't put another one on there.
How many hours did you spend on Cyberpunk?
Not a lot. Not a lot. Not a lot relative to other people who play video games. I did play, it's like 360, 400 hours of Cyberpunk. Um, but I know people that have played it, or at least I've seen things on the internet that people have played it for like thousands of hours. Even shit like Skyrim, I'm sure there's somebody out there who's played Skyrim for like 20,000 fucking hours since it came out in like 2011.
Oh
Um,
God, yeah.
so for me, yeah, like I don't often do that, and for me to play a game for almost 400 hours is like a 6 month time of my life. It's like half a year, like where I could possibly get that in. That means it's like I haven't been playing anything else except that game, for like more than half a year. So, but yeah, I don't know. GTA Online just seems like a lot, kind of like life. It's a lot. It's
It is.
really a
And
lot.
so, before I ask you my last question about
Hmm.
if life is a simulation, first of all, Manus jumped in the chat. Hey, Manus, he says
Madness.
hello. But
I
his
know
name is
him.
Simulation Madness. So, I mean,
Ooh,
but he plays simulation games. So,
sure.
I mean, when we were doing Power Wash Simulator, was life as a simulation? Because we were working in a game that we're supposed to be having fun, and we had fun because were playing with our friends, yet we were doing a job that we get
Yeah,
online currency for, but
I
not
felt
real
great.
money. So we played games that are simulation, but that's not the question I want to ask. So, in all honesty,
Yes.
if you found out today you're Neo instead of Neo, you are Soto,
Oh God. Yep.
you find out that life is a simulation and what blah blah blah. Now let's not say you're going to get all the powers in the Matrix, but you just know this ain't real life what we see. But if you know there's no consequences, what would be the first thing you do? Like if you found out today life is a simulation, we don't know how to get back to the real world. This is our world. what would you do?
Oh my God, that's a fucking fantastic question. What is the first thing that I would do? Oh man, I'd probably try to see how high I could jump.
We
If
don't
we're
have
talking
hops.
about like, yeah, like if we're talking about the first thing I would do, I'd like to do that. I'd like to see what it's like to be up there for a second. And now this is me. This is coming from me being afraid of heights, but right, like you find out that you're in the Matrix. The first thing that I want to do is a diagnostics run. Okay, like, am I as in much pain as I usually am? Like, can I will that away? Uh, and how far can I jump? Can I jump over that tree? And then everything else would come after that, I think. But that's the first thing. I just got to be like, all right, revert back to 8-year-old me who used to jump off shit and injure myself because you got to test reality out. Uh, so that's the first thing I would do. After that, I have no grand plans. Um,
Go
but
back
I'd
to work.
see, I go back to work. Holy crap! The first thing I do is probably rob a bank because I probably wouldn't be caught in shit like that. You know what I mean? But then there's no real money in banks, so I don't know. It's like a cliche thing to be like the second thing I would do is a crime,
Crime.
um, which tells you about like our society. It's like first thing, jump over a tree. Second thing, I'm going to commit a crime as soon as I know what my powers
It's the
are.
American way.
It's the American way. The American way. Can I get away with a crime? What can I do? I mean, how many movies and shit do we watch nowadays where it's like, this is how I got away with something? And we're like, oh my God, I never thought about that.
He jumped.
Yeah, I would
I'm
jump.
sorry.
Exactly.
Oh my god.
That's it, man. That's it. And right now, I can't do any of those things. So even if this is a simulation, like it's kind of a letdown, bro. Thank God they let me watch cartoons on this thing. That's the
You got your
only thing
anime.
that
You do.
like I got my anime, like cool, and I can play video games, like awesome. Thank you, thanks simulation.
We appreciate you doing simulation things in our life as a simulation, but it's not a
Yeah.
simulation. Oh my God. Yeah, Madness is
Oh my
saying the same
goodness.
thing. Don't confuse me with all the simulation. We're just going to need to end this talk right now. But yeah, no, there. I mean, in all honesty, yeah, it's all crazy talk. It's all fun, what ifs. But yeah, let's just
Cool.
lead our, you know, boring lives with the ones we love, and just be like, yeah, no, we play video games, and we're okay with that. I'm okay with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
uh, that's too funny. So,
Dude, I
but
mean, it's fucking true.
so Soto, I know we talked about this, and when we did our first live podcast, we kind of want to make it simple, and that's why we talked about 10 influential films. We just want to get into something that we can easily do. But
Yeah.
then I thought, all right, let's hit Twitter and ask some people. And I'm like, let's just get questions from people. Let's just kind of like we did when we became affiliates on Twitch. I was like, you know
Mm-hmm.
what? Let's just do a fun little Q&A. People can ask us whatever. And I know that was a lot more gaming questions. I think we had a couple of other ones in there, but more people at that time were asking gaming questions. So I put it
Mm-hmm.
out there. Ask us anything, any questions on
Yes.
the line, and we will answer it. Now, do be warned, it does not mean you are going to like the answer. It might be a simple answer, it might be a dumb answer. We will just answer to the best of our ability.
Mm-hmm.
So, we are going to go through some of these questions that, mostly our friends have done, and even my daughter sent a few. We'll get to that towards the end. So, we're going to have a little fun. And if you're in chat and you want to ask us a question on the spot, we will do our best to answer it.
Oh, yes,
So,
please.
the first group of questions we got from Melly Playful and Tango 230. So we're going to go through. They send a few. They are always on our channel. We always appreciate everything they do for us.
Absolutely.
So we're gonna start with some of these questions because they have some good ones and some funny ones. So the first question, Soto, that was Mel submitted all these questions. So I don't know which is her. She says Tango asked, but you
Mm-hmm.
know, we've had lots of funny moments. What has been your best memory playing with myself, Tengu, or the Wednesday night crew, which I know is more me? Um, but she wants to know from both of us what are our
Mm-hmm.
best gaming memories with them. So, Soda, I'm going to start with you. What is
Sure.
your one of your favorite gaming moments with Mel and Tengu, or Tengu, whatever works best?
Well, with Mel, definitely, I will always remember all the stuff we did in Zombie Army. I know we were kind of talking about it earlier too, but that shit was so fucking fun. Um, and the explosions that happened during that and everything, so many laughs there. I think, honestly, when I was thinking about this question, the most recent funny memory um, that we had that I fucking love is when we were cleaning Santa's workshop in Power Wash Simulator. That we just laughed the whole entire fucking time for the glitches, for everything that we're doing. That was the most ridiculous thing, and a lot of what we do is just crazy, stupid shit. So I have to say that's my personal favorite because that's the most recent one that I can remember, where it's just like everything was natural or organic, and even to rest in peace, the Rotten Taste episode that never happened about is Die Hard a Christmas movie conversation that will just never be resurrected in any sort of
Yep.
way. But that whole thing was fucking fun, and I'm sure there are way more funny moments to come too with Mel and Tengu as well. So that's it for me.
So if I had to pick a game, and I do have an actual moment, but I want to give a little shout out, especially since Madness is here, is
Madness,
Broforce. When we played Broforce,
my
that
God.
was the most hilarious time for us because we're just these little sprites jumping around, killing each other accidentally, could not get things right. I mean, we played a lot of games where we've all had a blast, but I'm giving a little shout out to Broforce. So I got two answers. One for Mel, the one gaming moment, and we actually just talked about this last night. And this is way back when we both played with a bunch of people. Friday the 13th, the game. When I bought the summer outfits and I put the Speedo on Chad,
Oh
the
yeah.
first time she saw it, she's dying laughing. And when Mel starts laughing, she
Yes.
she loses it. And then
Hmm.
they do like we both lost it, and it became just kind of within a lot of our group just a big joke. And we always have laughs when it comes to Speedo Chad. And those that don't know, Chad is a character in the game, so it just worked out. That, he was Chad. I'm like, fuck it, I'm playing that guy. He might suck, but I am playing as that guy. So yeah, a lot of the Friday the 13th moments, but Speedo Chad was the best for me with Mel, and we have a lot of moments. Tengu, coincidentally, this has to deal with Mel, but the one I always laugh at is when we did the Among Us streaming event, and we had like what 14 of us, 15 of us. So once we got going, the very first time I was killer,
Oh God.
I don't know who the other killer was. The final three was me, Mel, and Tengu. And I'm just thinking like, there's no way I'm getting out of this. Like, I am fucked. Because I'm thinking like, all right, there's no way they're gonna figure it out. I'm like, I might have to throw some funny shade shit in there, and I'm just like, I don't know how to do this. And then Mel just all of a sudden is like, I don't know where Tengu was. I'm like, I don't know. I'm over here. And she bought it. And poor Tengu, this is why I laughed. She's just like, what just happened? Because she just voted him
Oh
out. And
yeah,
I
that's
had,
right. That's
it's
right.
just, because I know we
I
couldn't
remember
really
that.
like mute the chats, but when people saw it, it was just us three. And I know you laughed. It's out there. You're just laughing because I'm just, people who know I'm the killer, it's these two. And I'm just like, fuck.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, yeah, Tango gets voted out and I win, and I just died laughing. So I love playing Among Us, but that moment, because it came out of left field, because again, I'm just looking, I'm like, there's no way. They got to know each other. It's probably like, the survivors or crewmates. It's been so long since,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, so yeah, I laugh at that, and I think about that from time to time because that was just friggin' hilarious to me. So that'd be my pick for Tengu, because he just is like, what just happened? Kind of
Oh my
thing.
God.
Like Mel just
Fucking
turned on him.
iconic. Fucking
Uh,
iconic. I mean, most of the time when I play with Mel and Tengu and Mel especially, I'm just trying to make her fucking laugh. So sometimes when I play with Mel, I even act even more insane. But I don't remember a lot of these memories because I'll be honest with you guys, a lot of times I'm fucking drunk. When I'm playing these fucking games, these legendary fucking moments, I'm like fucking hammered out of my ass. And when I'm hammered, for some reason, I like things to just explode. And that's a great fucking segue to
So
this
we got our
fucking
second set of
question.
questions here. Uh, Tangu wants to know. This is just for Soto. What is your favorite kind of explosion?
Dude,
So I guess
dude.
just straight up. What's your favorite kind of explosion, Soto?
I mean, like nuclear explosions, like planetary explosions, fucking galactic explosions. There is no such thing like as an explosion that's too big for me. I like them big. I like them huge. I want them to just destroy everything. I see a red barrel in a game. I see a red anything in the game. Like a fucking monkey, I am shooting that shit and making it explode. But man, the bigger, the better. Those are my favorite kind of explosions.
And then she asked for me, and this somehow always comes up as a joke. So I will answer it. If I was Marty Roos for a day, what would I do? Simple question. I'd be nice to Chad. Just be a
Wow.
I'd spend the money, like go visit my friends. They're like, you know what, I'm going to New Hampshire. I'll visit Chad. But yeah, no, I'm gonna have fun with that one, and I'm gonna leave that at that. But
That's
oh man,
impactful.
if I was Marty for a day, I don't know what I would do with that hair. To be honest with you, I could not comb it. And I'll leave that. Yeah, he's got some crazy hair. So, next set of questions. And now we kind of talked about this or jokingly with the life as a simulation about being a supervillain or whatnot. But
Yeah.
if you're a superhero supervillain for one day and no one knew it was you, what would you choose to be? And like if you're a villain and you could do anything, would you take away the toilet paper, or would you do something big as destroying the world? Speaking about nuclear explosions. So
Oh, love them.
if you were a hero villain, what would you do? Well, like, what would your powers be, and would there be anything you would do for a day?
Okay, so if I was a superhero, it's nothing really fancy at all. But if I was a superhero, okay, and have some sort of superpower where I could like, I don't know, make food appear out of nowhere, and I'd feed people and shit like that, that would be it. I would just like, I would open up a restaurant or maybe just like nonprofit, and I would just feed whoever I could.
We
All
got
right,
one day, so yeah, definitely
that's it.
get food. Yep.
Okay, all right. Now for supervillain, for one day, I would destroy the fucking internet.
My God,
I would
kids these
burn the
days would not know what to
fucking
do.
I would burn the fucking internet to the ground. Like cell phones, everything like well maybe not cell phones for emergency reasons, okay. But I am a villain, so maybe I am. But I would I would burn the internet down for a fucking day. So superhero, all you can eat buffet.
Nothing wrong with that.
Supervillain, you have no internet for the day.
Uh, so if I was a superhero, I kind of got two, and it depends on the definition of what happens after this day. Like if I had one day, I would want to fly, and mainly because I think I would just want to visit a lot of family and friends who I haven't seen in years, who I might not get a chance because it's fucking expensive to fly. And I mean, I know this is more selfish. I'm not saving the world, but I'm like, I would visit a lot of family and friends who I've not seen in years. So there's people I miss. I would see it. I know it's more selfish. I'm like, that's what I would do. Just kind of just do that and then maybe see the world. But I would love to see family and friends. If I could remember shit after a day, if this sticks with me, like I would want the thing where you can remember stuff so easily. Because in all honesty, I would want to learn every language and sign language and all that. So if that stuck with me after the one day, I would love to have that skill to be able to speak any
Oh,
language or to sign language. But I don't
yeah.
know if the day's over and I forget it all. I'm like, well, then that's pointless. So
Hmm.
I thought about that because I'm like, I've always wanted to speak another language, and I'm like, hey, if I can learn it all in a day, super memory that. If I was a villain, now, internet. You know what, Soto? That's such a good answer. I don't think I can. I don't
It's an old
think
man
I can do
answer.
that. I think I would be a different kind of asshole and I'd be more selfish. But the best villains are. And I always think about setting up my family. So I'd be like, you know what? I would just. At first, I was like, I'll just steal money from a big corporation, put it away, set up my,
Love it.
my lineage, my friends.
Yes,
Then I'm like, you know what?
absolutely.
I don't know these corporations' problems. So I'm like, why the fuck do I just not go to Las Vegas, see what's going to happen, take all the money, casino to casino? But yes, set up family and friends. So even as a supervillain, I'm still doing good things. I think a part of me is just always good at heart. I want to take care of the people I love. Hero or villain,
Hmm.
that's what I want to do. But destroying the internet, I 100% agree. I like that would be way too hilarious. I would love to see kids these days without their cell phones, without the internet. People would just panic. This cats loving dogs. What I forget that whole line in
Yeah.
Ghostbusters. I'd just be like,
Yes.
oh my god, that is a good answer. But for me, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I always go back to just taking care of the people I love. Even if I was a villain, I'd be like, yeah, I would steal money so I can take care of them. I'm like, that might not be villainous, but I'm stealing it, so there is a little villainous there. So, yeah, I know it's not cool, but to me, I kind of still always take care of the people I love. So I think that's where it is. So.
Yeah, dude,
That's
I'm
me.
just too,
That's
co- I'm too fucking connected to the fucking internet. You know what I mean? Like I'm too fucking connected to it, and it's like it becomes a goddamn drag. It's like I'm
yeah,
on my phone, like before I go to bed. I'm on my phone when I wake up. I'm on my phone in the middle of the day, and people are like, "Oh, just like just let it go, man." It's like, no, it's been wired to connect to my brain.
yeah.
It's like, so it's psychologically like making me do it, and I am working on it. But man, I would like for it to just be destroyed. That's it.
So I believe this is the last question from Mel and Tengu, if I counted
Oh,
correctly. And this is actually a good one. So out of all
yeah,
the
it's a
movies
really good
we've
one.
reviewed on Rotten
Hmm.
Taste, which movie's our favorite, and why is it Dream a Little Dream? So this is why I don't think Tengu's asked that question. But in all honesty, let's take out that Dream a Little Dream part because we know that's not true.
Are you
But
sure?
thank you, Mel, for
You
doing
don't like that
that
movie?
episode with no. But out of all the movies we did, Soto, what would you say? Not our favorite episode, but yeah, what movie did you like? What rewatch? And what do you think is your favorite movie out of all the ones we've done?
I mean, honestly, it's probably it's the most boring answer, but it's definitely when I was looking at all the movies, I still love Men at Work. I think Men at Work is a great movie. Um, and you're gonna hate my second answer because it was a tie between Men at Work and Hudson Hawk. And
Yeah,
because I can watch Hudson Hawk right now, okay? You haters, I could watch Hudson Hawk right now and enjoy the shit out of it, okay? Maybe not so much The Wizard, although I would still watch it, even though it only has 7 fucking views. Thanks, everyone. But Hudson Hawk or Men at Work, I think it's a toss up. I lean towards Men at Work because it's just great, but I fucking love both those movies, man. I think, like recently we did Harry and the Hendersons. I think that was the most competent movie I feel like I've seen on Rotten Tomatoes. Where I was like, no, there's nothing wrong with this movie. This movie is perfectly fine in every single way. But I enjoy Men at Work probably the best.
so for me, I did have two answers as well, and neither were those. Though Men at Work, I did like Hudson Hawk. I didn't mind it. I just was not a huge fan. So I
So
like.
good.
Obviously, I go back to my childhood and I think about what I watched a lot. And looking at the list like you, I'm like, there's a lot of movies I don't mind that we've rewatched. But to me, if I had to pick a favorite, and
Hmm.
I would, it has to be Three Amigos. I just love the Three
Oh,
Amigos. I used to
so
watch that
good.
consistently as a kid.
Yeah,
I know we've talked
so
about it. You got
funny.
three of the best, comedians of that time,
Hmm.
still funny as shit.
So
Um,
funny.
I loved it, and I still sing the Buttercup song. But yeah, so if I had to pick one, Three Amigos, I would say is probably my favorite. Now a close second, and this is a little bit more personal because I know I talked about this in that video was, I watched this a lot of my dad's, and my second one would be Over the Top. And again, I I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, but
Yeah.
I used to watch that again. Another movie I watched a lot, and I loved it. I know it doesn't hold up as much today as it might have done back then. The typical '80s kind of action flicks. But for me, again, watching it, it was one of those movies I watched all the time with my dad. So there's a little bit more of a personal thing. But if I had to pick my favorite, Three Amigos, like hands down, anytime that's on, I can easily just watch it. You know, watch, sing along with the singing bush, find the invisible man, blah blah blah. It is just such a fun comedy. Yeah, we picked apart a few parts. Yeah, Harry and the Hendersons, like we said, the most wholesome. Hard to pick out because it was kind of just a good film. But
Yeah.
favorite wise, one that I can
That's a
watch
good
again and
movie.
again. Definitely, I would have to say Three Amigos. So that
So,
is my pick. That would be my pick.
what you're
So
saying is not Roadhouse.
no, no, not Roadhouse, and not I mean, definitely not the remake. Though we'll get to that. I know we're going to talk about that
Mm-hmm.
for a
Mm-hmm.
future episode right after this. So
Oh, we sure
uh,
will.
before we get to the next set of questions, which coincidentally are from Madness, Madness did put something
Oh,
in chat. He's
madness.
like he wanted to let us know that his favorite out of the ones we did was the Phantom Menace. And he's glad that we're doing a full run through, which yes, little spoiler alert, we haven't really got everything set up, but sometime hopefully in May, if we can get everyone's schedule to align. We kind of got 5 people now. We're going to do a
Yeah.
roundtable talking about. It might evolve more, but we wanted to talk about the 9 films. I
Ooh,
know people are going to have
all
histories,
9.
but well, I think
I
it's going
love
to be a
it.
bunch of like original trilogy, prequels,
Sure.
sequels. But some of the
Yeah.
topics, which are worse. I know, Matt, is what you're thinking: prequels versus sequels. You know, um, other, the cultural phenomenon, why Star Wars is so huge, is the special editions of the original trilogy. Was it worth it? All the scenes he added. I know that. So yes, we're
I
going
have
to kind
opinions
of
about
talk about
those.
the
I have
like. Yeah, I
opinions.
know you do, and so do I. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, we're not going to go like film by film, and I think we'll group it, but because I think this is going to be bigger. But I know for Soto and I, we are watching all 9 films again just to get ourselves fresh.
Yes.
Fresh,
Yep.
fresh, fresh. So I'm going to cry through the sequels again, but I will watch the sequels for Madness and the prequels. I will watch. I might have to do Phantom Menace again, even though I know we just watched it last year. So
Oh,
I
it's like
might.
too
I
soon
mean, if we're
for it.
doing all 9, I'm like, I almost have to put them all together again.
Oh,
But
God.
yeah, so sometime in May we're going to do a live podcast that is strictly Star Wars. But
Yeah.
originally, I think the idea was we're going to go film by film. But I think we're going to kind of break it up, and I think people are just going to have different things to say, about their lives. And so I think just having a good Star Wars day and Star Wars talk is going to be a lot of fun. But yeah, so hopefully, if Madness will join us. I know Tengu is interested. Lee from Essential Gamer. I'm hoping we get schedules kind of set whenever it happens, and maybe if we can find a six. I don't know why 6 just seems like a good number, but if not, the 5 of us are gonna have fun. But yeah, just basically Star Wars fans geeking out about Star Wars and bitching about the Star Wars that they hate, aka the sequels and a lot of the prequels. Sorry, Madness, but
Yeah,
that's
I
for a
mean,
later talk.
Phantom Menace one is definitely one of the most fun rotten tastes that I've been a part of, and obviously Turtles was like
I think
legendarily hilarious.
I think anything that we've done with people, even though I joke that Dream a Little Dream sucked, doing those 2 movies with Mel was hilarious. I know it's
That
her
was
favorite.
great.
Yeah, Phantom Menace was good. I mean, the Turtles, I think I just out of everything, just because we did all 3 of them back to back to back,
Oh my
and I
God,
think
dude.
that was kind of our first. We've done 2 back, just me and you, but when we did all 3,
Yeah.
you could just sense the burn, and it worked because the third Turtles just sucked so bad. So, but
Oh
let's get to
God, I
Madness's
know.
questions.
Yeah. All right.
We've so let's see. He did send a few,
Okay.
a couple wrestling ones, but the first one, it's a good one. Is there a TV series connected to movies other than Star Wars franchise that you enjoy? Madness, this took me a bit, mainly because I had to think about what TV series were connected to movies that I watched. Um, there is a couple Marvel series which I in the early on like WandaVision I liked. I know some people didn't. Out of all the Marvel ones, Loki was my favorite, both seasons. But it was hard to
Wow.
think. But I out of I haven't watched many past Loki, so I don't know. Because what was it? Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Moon Knight, but then I think I just stopped watching those. Oh, Miss Marvel, I saw, but yeah, I did like the Loki
Oh,
series.
it's a
I
lot of commitment, man.
it is, but luckily they're only 6 episodes each. But if I
Oh.
had to pick, like maybe my favorite one that really connects, and I was like, oh shit, how did I not think about this till almost last minute? Cobra Kai. I was a huge, huge Karate Kid Part 2 fan. I did like the first one, and we've talked about the third one, and I know hopefully we get to the fourth one. But the second Karate Kid is one of my favorite films. I still stand by the fact that it's the best film in the series. That might be a hot take to some people, but to me it is. But Cobra Kai
I
has
could
brought.
argue it is.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
I
know
could
we
agree with
agree,
that.
but I know some people think the first, whatever. But I think
Oh
the
yeah, other people,
series
yeah.
brought the what was good about the movies, uh, introduced the cast in the right way, like a newer cast, because we are not going to see Johnny versus Daniel fighting each other
Yeah.
through now what's coming up the 6th season, I think fifth or
Oh,
yeah
yeah,
sixth
oh
season,
God, it's
sixth
been
and final
six
season.
seasons?
I loved how they connect a lot. They just made this for the fans. They're bringing back pretty much. They brought back every character except for one, which we don't know if she will come back. Julie Pierce from the next Karate Kid, Hilary Swank. Hopefully that's like the last missing piece. I do not want to talk about the Ralph Macchio Jackie Chan film yet. That's kind of odd to me, but I will probably end up seeing it one way or another. Just maybe not in
We have
theaters,
to.
but Cobra Kai to me was just it's everything that a TV series based on a movie should be. It stays true to the films. It keeps everything canon, but it does so in a way that it makes it more modern but enjoyable.
Yeah.
These characters I've loved, even whether they're good or villains. They've done a lot of things the right way. Are the fight scenes over the top? Yep. Some of them are just crazy, like, yeah, whatever. But if you're there to enjoy the ride, those fight scenes are fucking awesome. So it's the only thing I
Yeah.
can really think of that was based on a movie. So for my answer, and you might have something different, I don't know. But to me, Cobra Kai would be the one that I've enjoyed most out of everything that's based on a movie series. So,
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I didn't really have an answer for this until you and I talked about it. I think probably Cobra Kai is like the closest thing. I just, to get into my old man soapbox, it's like I our media requires like so much of us, like with shows connected to shit. Like we'll get into Star Wars some other time, but there's so many fucking Star Wars TV series, dude. Like I don't like I lost the fucking plot. Like Mandalorian, I think was like the last thing I saw. Then I went to Boba Fett, and then it's like Ahsoka and all that stuff. And it's like you get far behind. At least I do. I get far behind, and I'm like I lose interest. I'm like, you know what? I've it's gone now to a place where
yeah.
it would take me 1,000 episodes to get there. Like, and I already watched One Piece. So I just don't. So, Cobra Kai was a nice surprise because I expected that to be utter dog shit. Um, because it's not like the Karate Kid movies like got better with every single movie as we've discussed. Um,
Has it though?
they actually, nah, I mean, I don't
Oh,
know.
the second one.
I
I know,
haven't,
second
I
one.
haven't
Yeah.
seen the next Karate Kid. So as long as I haven't seen it, technically, I don't know it's a bad movie. I'm living in between life right now where I've heard it's not great, but then there's the other part of my brain that's like, how bad could it be? I've seen some really bad movies. Um, but yeah, I'd have to go with Cobra Kai. Really, there's no other one. Lord of the Rings is another movie that I love, and The Rings of Power is like not good from Amazon, so I don't know. But yeah, Cobra Kai would probably be the closest thing. Even Cobra Kai has its cheesy parts, but
Oh yeah.
they're like charming cheesy parts. Where they have like nods to the original show or the original movie, and it's a good time. But yeah, I really do not watch other stuff that's like connected to movies.
Yeah, and it's tough. It's not like they make too much, and I'm sure there might have been something when we were younger that we're just not thinking of. Um, but
Oh
like for
man.
example, I know like Firefly came first, that TV series, then it was Serenity. So I like both, but that was kind of the other way around. So I was just yeah thinking of the TV
Well, Dark
series.
Crystal, you probably like that one, right? You probably liked how that
I never
connected.
saw the series. I'll be honest.
What?
I have not watched the series.
Come
I
on, man. You love that movie.
I love that movie. Correct. I never got around to that series, and like you, it's like and then they only did one season, or like they cut it short. So I'm like I now it's my time for old man talk here. So yeah, no, I
Old man
mean,
talk. But you watch the
like
Marvel movies, like, and their shows, like that's
yeah, but
those
I kind of
ones don't
stopped
make
watching
sense
those
to
shows,
me.
and yeah, Moon Knight, I watched, and I was like,
What? Moon
I
Knight? What
think
the fuck is a Moon Knight?
I don't know. I think that was the last show I watched because I was like I
Uh,
liked some of the first few. Either way, I don't want to get into the
that's the
whole
one with
Marvel
like
debacle.
Poe Dameron, right? Like
I think so.
Poe's in
Yeah.
that
Yep.
shit.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know, man.
So
There's only so much time I have in my day in this simulation
agreed.
to fit in fucking Moon Knight.
So let's get to the next question to Madness. And he had a few wrestling questions in here. So I don't know
Oh
how
God,
well
Madness,
we're
I'm
going
so
to answer.
sorry. I'm
So
so sorry, Madness. I'm an old
first,
school wrestling
first,
guy.
no. I'm glad you said old school, or I'm going to say old timer. Because here's my yeet or
Everything
no
we do
yeet.
is old, Chad.
I know. Just hold, his first thing is yeet or no yeet. I know this is a Uso thing, but Madness, I'm 46
A
years
what
old.
thing?
I don't give a shit what a yeet is. So my answer is no yeet.
It's a what? What did you say? It's a what thing?
Uso. It's a
The fuck
tag
is
team called
that?
the brothers. They were fighting each other. One said yeet, one said no yeet. That's all I know. That's
Oh my
all I know.
God. Look,
I'm
I'd
just
make
talking about
fun
yeet
of
in
whatever
general.
this is, but like one of my favorite wrestlers, Stone Cold Steve Austin, had a whole thing where he was saying what all the time, and to my knowledge, it still continues where people continue to say what all the time. So I can't make fun of this. I get what wrestling is. It's about getting like pops from the crowd and all that stuff with stupid shit because you want the crowd to say shit back to you. This wasn't always the case with wrestling, by the way. Like this is a symptom of the Attitude Era, where it's like there was like weird like audience callbacks. Because like in the '80s, this shit did not happen. There was no like catchphrase. I know like even with Al Snow, he had the head. Do you remember that?
Yeah,
And
but
he would
that
do
was
the
still you're
head,
still
head,
more in the
head, and all that
'90s.
stuff.
Yeah, but yeah.
I don't know. This yeet or no yeet, I see it as just kind of a byproduct of that. Isn't yeeting like when you just yeet something, like, just fucking, I don't know, like he straight up got yeeted out of his car, like, somebody just gets kicked
Uh,
out of a car while it's moving or some shit.
Soto, I will say it again. I am fucking old. I am 46. I do care. That sounds right. If I'm wrong, you're wrong. Guess what? I'm not losing sleep over it. So hence, I'm still
Ah,
on no yeet. And it's not because of the saying. I'm just like, I just don't want the word yeet around. So to me, no yeet. Don't say it.
it's just a
Kids these
sound, really.
yeet. Um,
Yeet.
but speaking
Okay,
about catchphrases, the second
sure.
one here. Do you smell what the Rock is cooking? Now, Madness, I'm going to tell you this. Until Dwayne Johnson invites me to his house and actually cooks me a dinner, I will never smell what he's cooking. I don't care what he's cooking. And
Wow.
yeah, I know it's a fun
It's a
catchphrase,
hot take.
whatever. It got people, going. But if I'm looking at this literally, no, I don't know
It's
what he's cooking.
provocative.
I don't smell it. You know, I mean, I'm
Yeah,
sure
I
his
smell
family
what
makes
he's
great food.
cooking.
Oh,
I
my wife
do.
said yeet. She's on the yeet train. She just in there in the comments. So sorry,
I don't even
hon,
know who
no
made
yeet.
up that like yeet or no yeet, but I mean, I like yeet. It sounds positive. I'm positive for yeet. I like positive activities. So yeah, I agree, yeet. And do I smell what the rock's cooking? I mean,
Do you smell
yeah.
what you do?
Isn't he just like, I mean, I hate to bring reality into this, but wasn't he just simply just asking if we knew what he was talking about? And most of the time, he'd be like, yeah, I feel you, dog.
Yeah, but I could care less. I'm
I
having
mean,
fun with that one. Yes, he's like,
I know you are,
it's
yes.
like Stone Cold. That's the bottom line. Yes, I know it's the explanation point and blah blah blah. He's like, that's what I said, just in a different way. But no,
Yeah,
I'm having
I do
fun with that.
smell he's cooking. He was cooking
Yeah,
some shit at WrestleMania, right?
yeah, he was.
Um,
He was there.
that shit was bananas.
Yeah. Um, this question, who raised the briefcase at King of the Ring 1999? Madness, I wasn't watching wrestling then. I did not watch Attitude Era. I think I know which segment you're
Uh,
talking about. But something with Stone Cold, he was going to ladder, they pulled the briefcase. So in TV series shows, they got this thing called a prop master, and this is the
yeah.
legitimate job where they take care of all the props on a TV show. If I treat this like a TV show, the prop master probably held that briefcase at a string and at the right time pulled it up. No one else pulled it up. I don't know what the story was supposed to be. As just like wrestling, they screwed Stone Cold somehow, and they just never finished the story. It's like a twist that just never got explained, I guess. But yes, to me, the prop master is the
Yeah.
one that pulled the briefcase because I don't know. I don't even know who was
I've
right
heard it
beside.
was like I've read it was supposed to be like Big Boss Man coming back or Boss Man did it or something like that. Regardless, yes, it was a drop storyline because yeah, spoiler alert, wrestling is staged.
What?
Yeah, I know. Although my favorite is when Stone Cold put cement in Vince McMahon's car. That was really funny. Um, which the amount of crimes that Stone Cold Steve Austin committed and was never arrested for, like if you believed it was real, like I don't know, like your idea of the simulation is kind of at risk. But yeah, I heard it's supposed to be a work that just never got completed, Madness, and I'm sure you've heard the same thing. So
Yeah, I have no idea. I don't know much about that time. So, but that's just me. But
yeah, wow,
I'm
wrestling,
just
huh?
sure some guy in the back had it tied to a string, and then they were waiting for the right moment. They pulled it up. You know, that
Are
that
we?
that
We're not
that.
going to become a. You think we'll ever become a wrestling podcast?
No, because we like to talk Star Wars and other shit. Every now and then we'll throw
Wrestling
wrestling.
and movies, but wrestling pops up.
It does, and
Pops
I
up a
think that
lot.
what started that right now is because of freaking No Holds Barred. Because
I
we
know. Oh
did
my
that,
God.
and then we started talking, which is our second most watched Rotted Taste, which is hilarious to
I
me
don't get it. I don't. I really do
because
not
it's
get it.
whole
Because sometimes
it's so
it's
bad.
exactly.
I
It's
think
it's
people loved
that's
it.
a really bad movie, man. I stand by the fact that I might want to watch Dream Little Dream before I watch that again because that movie was bad,
It was, and I
so
will be
bad.
honest, it was bad. It was horrible, and we had a lot of questions. But I think a lot of people just like when we watch those kind of bad movies, or maybe it's just more nostalgic. People are like, "Oh, I
Yeah.
remember No Holds Barred. Let's see what they're saying about it," kind of thing. So,
Yeah. No, I just I don't know. Sometimes you do like when we did No Holds Barred, I didn't think it was going to be like a popular Rotten Taste. I really can't tell sometimes like which ones are going to be popular and which ones aren't going to be popular.
yeah,
At least popular relative. Now this is to our small means, but popular to us. As
Correct.
far as we'll be like, oh wow, people watched that one more than they watched, I don't know, The Wizard. Or we just had Rex Manning Day the other day, and
Yeah. Empire
we had
Records. Yeah.
Empire Records, which kind of like was like, that was kind of a dud. Um, some hit better than others, but yeah, I no holds barred. Like I was rewatching the Roadhouse one. That one is actually I thought was it made me laugh because of our fonts that we used and
Bar
the,
Fights the movie. I had to
the
listen to it too, getting
explosions
ready
the
for the new
movie.
one
Yeah, I'm like
with
that's
useless explosions.
oh man. Yeah, that was some good times. But yeah, you just never know. You never know. I mean, the Wizard to me will just always be my sad baby.
It happens. So,
Hmm.
all right. So the next question is from Drummer
Hmm.
Chris, who
Drummer Chris.
Drummer Chris. He's actually contributed when we did like the scary movies. He's the one that did the movie Rubber, but that's mainly because he doesn't watch scary movies, so I don't think he had a good one. But he
Oh
has a
yeah.
question.
But there is violence in the movie Rubber, isn't there?
Yes, it is technically a
Isn't the
horror film.
tire scary? Like
It kills
it
you. It
elicits
just looks at
fear?
you. It shakes, and then your head blows up. I didn't act.
Yeah, I
I think I
guess.
watched the first 15 minutes of it just because you hear a movie like Rubber, and you're like, "All right, I'm curious. I want to know what's going on.
Oh
Why is
God,
there a
Chad.
killer
You
tire?"
watch Sharks of the Corn. You watch the entire Sharks of the Corn.
Or we had to do that because that was what you chose for an October Halloween movie, and it was hilariously bad. But there's a yeah, no, I mean, but Rubber was on Netflix like years ago before Tubi even existed. But anyhow, Drummer Chris asks, my
Hmm.
polydactyl cat, Olive Garden, which AKA, if that's really your cat's name, love it, love it, love it, love it. But this
I
cat
love
has
it.
learned.
That is a fantastic name and probably my second favorite name for a cat ever. And I'll digress, but I'll divulge that at the end of what my favorite cat name
All
is of
right,
all time.
divulge that at the end. All right, so, but anyhow, Olive Garden has learned how to unscrew my ceiling lights. She likes to bat them around like a punching bag. How do I stop this behavior? Soto,
Oh,
as a
so
person who's had cats in the past, uh,
yeah, I kind of look like
that
Jackson
that
Galaxy too.
uh, say what?
Do you know who Jackson Galaxy is?
No.
You should Google it sometime. But I kind of look like him. He's like the cat whisperer.
Oh, I'll have
But
to
he's
look
got my
into this.
same
I
kind of vibe. When you see it, you'll start laughing because you'll be like, "Oh my God, this is true."
but
Um,
you're yeah. So anyhow, what would and I have answers for Chris too. But yeah, what would be a solution that you can give Chris to fix this problem? Because he's asking us.
well, um, there's just one obvious one because I'm a simple man of what I would do to stop this behavior. And my question has to be like, why is there a place for the cat to get up to there? What, there's like a wooden beam there? Is that what that is?
I think so. I'm not sure. I've never been to his place, but yes, the cat is obviously firmly standing or sitting here on something.
Because cats are naturally assholes, so getting them to stop doing something like is tough to do, especially like when you just bring a ball to a cat, like they'll just knock it off. So they're just assholes. They'll like stare at you while they do bad shit. So I would get rid of that beam first and then see if that can curb it. That's my
That's
first
funny
move.
because I had a three-part answer, and then I'm going to give you an answer that's in the comments in a second.
Hmm.
I would say first, teach your cat to box the screw the opposite direction. So your
Teach
cat's
your
actually
cat.
doing work for you and, tightening it. I know
Teach
that
your
can't be
cat.
done. Yeah, which we know cats can't be taught yet. Second, I
No,
actually
not
agree with you.
quite.
Don't have anything a cat can climb on. I'm with you. And then my third was like, tell your cat to not be a dick, which you kind of answered. But in the chat, before you continue your story about your cat's, favorite cat name, Madness and my wife says we should just yeet the cat. So yeet has come full circle.
Oh
All
my
right.
God, no. That poor kitty eating the
Cat will
cat.
land on all fours. Isn't that the
It's
saying?
true. What are you gonna eat it with? Like a broom or some shit? It's not a
Yeah, just take
fucking
your hand, just
mouse.
toss it like a grenade.
Just
Just
yeet the cat.
yeet
Oh
the.
my
I
fucking God.
That's just what the chat's saying. I'm not saying that's
Okay.
our answers, but I am giving the
Sure.
answers that two people have now said in the chat. But anyhow,
Yeah.
let's go full circle. You said Olive Garden was your second favorite cat's name. What's your favorite cat's name?
Well, yeah, when I first saw this question, I couldn't stop laughing because my brain at first could not understand. First of all, the sentence "my polydactyl cat Olive Garden." If you think about that phrase, Like, and just think about the ridiculousness of that phrase. It will break your fucking brain. You know, you want to talk about breaking the simulation and shit like that. That combination of words I have never seen before. I can say in my entire life. So there's one. And then so once my brain was able to wrap its mind around the Olive Garden part, I was like, okay, reminded me of a kid who I had met in New Jersey. I stayed on Long Beach Island for like a winter. And he had a cat that was named Slobodan Milosevic. Now, if anybody,
I don't know
if
why that
any,
sounds fun. I have no clue, but I'm like,
if anybody knows who Slobodan Milosevic is, he was like participated in like genocide basically, and is one of the worst like dictators like in history. One of the worst people in the world. And when this guy told me his cat's name was Slobodan Milosevic, I pissed my pants laughing. And when I asked him why, he had said because this cat is a terrorist. And he had a cat.
oh,
He fought this cat like every day. He would like walk in, and I don't know if you've ever seen the Pink Panther movies where like Clouseau would just open up the fucking closet, and all of a sudden a guy would come out, and they would start like a fucking like a martial arts like showdown out of nowhere. If you haven't, please watch the Pink Panther series. It's fucking hilarious. But they would just fight every day. And he was like, "This guy's an asshole, but I love him. This guy's an asshole," because he would like hold his cat like a baby. And for anybody that's listening, like, I'm sorry, you may want to hold a cat like a baby, but that's not how you hold a cat. Cats don't like to be cradled like that. They will absolutely claw your fucking face off if you try to do something like that. Okay, so he would fight this thing. He would love it, all that stuff. And yeah, like I to this day, and I lived there. I want to say this memory happened in 2008, 2009. But to this day, I will still find myself like making ramen and just saying Slobodan Milosevic to myself and just start giggling to myself about that memory. So, but now Olive Garden is fucking right up there because I'm sure there's a story behind that, and hopefully, Drummer Chris, one day you could tell us because that is an absolutely fantastic thing. You named your cat after a chain restaurant, like a mediocre ass Italian chain restaurant. Like you decided to name your cat a cat that has no idea what you're saying. You called it Olive Garden, and for you, I salute you, sir.
I got nothing more to add to that. Yeah. I'm
It's
sorry.
fucking
We're
great,
just
dude.
end that question right there, but
Slobodan. Slobodan the cat, dude. And the guy's name was Milky. That was his owner. Milky had a cat named Slobodan Milosevic.
oh my god.
Hmm.
Um, well, where to go from here? No. All right. So our next
Where
question.
do you go from there? Where do you go, really,
I
honestly?
we're gonna follow it up with something, but the next question comes from Sugar Rain, someone that I played a few games with
Sugar
back in the
Rain.
past and stuff like that.
Nice.
But she wants to know, going back to kind of our gaming history, if you
Yeah.
could be a character in any game and live in that
Hmm.
world, who would you be and why?
Yeah, I was like gonna say, oh man, would totally want to be like V in Cyberpunk and have like cyberware and live in like a Neo Tokyo kind of a place. But unfortunately, I'm just gonna be. I've decided this is a new thing, but I'm probably gonna be just the guy on Power Wash Simulator, and I'm just gonna work. It's just so relaxing. And as I get older, honestly, I just like the peace and quiet of just being out on a nice, beautiful day and just spraying water on shit and disassociating for the entire day. I know, not exciting. Not like Arthur Morgan or, maybe my character in Skyrim, the Dragonborn. Nothing. Just probably Power Wash Simulator. I think I'm gonna land on that. I'm not like cool like Cloud either. 'Cause Cloud that's whatever. I don't even know how I can hold that sword, but just give me
So,
Power
so,
Wash
so,
Simulator.
so what you're saying is you would choose to live in a simulation.
Yeah, I would.
All
In a
right, that's
simulation that is nice and peace and quiet, and that I get to have agency, okay, and I get to choose what I'm doing. So, yeah, no one's bothering me. I'm just sitting out there. I'm like out in the yard. It's a beautiful day. I mean, sure, I'm wearing like this ridiculous like suit from head to toe, but yeah, I think that's what I'd do. I'd retire to that.
It's funny because I feel like we had this question or similar in our affiliate Q&A a few years ago. So maybe
Oh
not
God.
exactly. And I think the joke was I was like, I would just live in The Sims, you know. Oh, I want a couch, that color couch right there. Snap my fingers, put it there. I'm like, it's simple. You know, we're just gonna live our lives. You know, I don't want
Hmm.
because a lot of the games I play, I don't think I want to live in that world because, AKA, I'm not gonna survive.
I don't want to live
Uh,
in Bloodborne. Are you kidding me? That world sucks.
Come
I
back, get your shit,
fucking
die again. You
no.
know, die again and die again.
Elden Ring? Hell no. Like nothing good happens in
I
those
mean, I
games at
guess the
all.
closest, and I don't know if I would want to live in that world, but just at a time, you know, if I had to pick one, you know,
Hmm.
more of an adventure sense, you know, and maybe a younger Chad, but like a Nathan Drake, because I always found a lot of the kind of like Indiana Jones, just you know, seeing you know those sites and stuff like that would be kind of cool, and you know,
Hmm.
just searching for the artifacts, different things. You know, I remember I went on my honeymoon, and we were at a I forget what it was called, but we were just at a museum, and I'm just you know they show everything, and I'm like there was something from like 1 AD, and I'm just like that's from the year one, and I had to touch it, and like I was just impressed by it that so much. I'm like I gotta touch this. Then there's a sign that says don't touch, but I if I had to pick and you know not do a cop out answer, part of it would be Nathan Drake just for the job's sake. I don't want people shooting guns at me. I don't want all the creepy shit to happen. You know that stuff come in the world. But the exploring, you know, finding the artifacts, exploring areas, I think that would just be kind of cool. Yes, older chat's just like, nope, put me in The Sims, build me a pool in the back easily. I'll go swimming. Just make sure
Oh,
there's a
sounds
ladder
nice.
there.
Yeah.
You know, that's my cheap ass answer because I'm like, I just like to play it safe. I just want to live a nice little life. So, but yeah, if I had to pick an actual game, you know, that I played, like I said, I would pick Nathan Drake and the Uncharted series. And he lives, so at least so far, so I'm okay with that. But yeah, those would be kind of my answers right
I
there.
want to be Bo Jackson in Tecmo Bowl or where the fuck that is on
I was like, do I want to be a
NES.
football player in a Madden game? I'm like, they make millions of
It's like
dollars. I
I'm
could.
Michael Jordan on 2K20. It's like, oh my God. I mean, yeah, that sounds like fun. Sure, I'd do
I
it.
would love to be a Michael Jordan. Oh my God.
Yeah.
All right, hold on. Before we go to the next question, I'm going to do, because I saw this, my wife would want to be a DVD killer. Yeah, so my wife wants to kill people.
DVD killer?
Dead by Daylight. She wants to be a killer.
Oh, DBD. Okay, I
I'm
thought it was a
sorry, Dead
DVD
by
killer.
Daylight. She,
I
yeah.
was like, what did DVDs ever do to you? They're a
What?
lost media. Like they didn't hurt nobody.
You go around killing these innocent people who are just trying to fix the generator so you can see, and you're like, nope, I'm going to kill these bitches. But yeah,
I
she
want to
kind of
inspire
mentioned that.
fear in others as they try to do mini games.
They're just trying to live. Damn it. Oh
Yeah,
my.
exactly, exactly. But you know, what about the killer's feelings, right? The killer is also got to do what it's got to do. I mean, does the killer
Yeah,
get any benefit from killing people? Do you get experience points from doing this?
you get experience points and you please the entity, which I don't really know what that
The
is.
entity. Oh, there's
It's where
like
you
an
say
overarching thing.
yes, and I'm sure my wife could tell you all about it.
Ah, oh
Uh,
yeah, no, I'm sure. I am
but
sure about that.
yeah, that's just where the kid. It's like It's almost like all right, we got to give these souls so the entity was happy with me. I don't really know. Each one has a backstory of why they're there. Um, I don't know if she's a killer. She could be a Michael Myers. She could be a Freddy Krueger. Like, is there a certain killer you want to be, Han? Since you know you're answering, or you just want to be a your own. She's going in as herself. Maybe that's it. She's just like, you know what? I'm badass enough. I can take out these survivors. So
I
yeah,
would be Billy Corgan, and then every time you would hear me come by, you'd hear disarm. Like you'd hear the beginning, you'd hear the chorus of disarm. You'd be like, "Oh no, the killer in me is the killer in you. He's
the killer
close."
and
But
oh
it'd be
my
Billy
god.
Corgan from that video. Not like new, not like zero Billy Corgan. You know what I mean? Like black and
Yep.
white Billy Corgan from the video Disarm. That would be me. So if anybody takes that idea, I'm just gonna give you a high five right now because you're on to something.
So the next set of questions, because we're going to move on from this.
That's how you transition from that. It's like I
I
want
don't know,
to be
but
Billy Corgan in Dead by Daylight. The-
Nicolas Cage is in Dead by Daylight as
yeah, that
himself.
makes
It's
more
not like he's a
sense.
character; he's just himself. It's not like Ash Williams. You know, there's a reason. But so anyhow,
Mm.
our next set of
Great.
questions we actually got from Lee from the Essential Gamer. Lee did the
Lee!
Turtles trilogy with us, which
Oh
was a
man, so
great
funny.
time.
Turtle
But he asked
dicks.
three. He gave us three questions to ask, and the first one might be a little bit hard for me, but I'm going to more or less give it to you. Because
Oh,
I
this is
think
easy
I'm
for
going to
me.
keep it simple. It might be the same answer. But yeah, first, let's just start with the top one. If you could change one thing about the city area you live in, what would it be?
Oh my
So,
God.
well,
Just less crime and
yeah,
gunshots. That's
uh,
all. Everything
that's
is
kind of
else
my
has been
answer right
perfect.
there. Maybe
It's just less gunshots. I know you well where you live, like is,
the crackheads and
also
stuff
got
like
it.
that. Yeah,
It's got crackheads. I have crackheads of a different sort.
this is true.
Um, but my area where I live, I'm okay with. People hate this. Like there is such loud music all the time. Especially when it gets nice out. Like nice out, it's like there's block parties everywhere and shit like that. And that pisses a lot of people off. It does not piss me off. It just makes it so that nobody will notice what I'm doing because there's like all these distractions. And then
Hmm.
there's also fireworks all the time for anything. There's
Yeah,
fireworks
that would
constantly.
probably get on my nerves. Um, no,
It's
where
not
we
me. I
live,
like it loud.
in this area, it's not bad because of where we're at, because of the border. But if I'm
Oh,
looking
not
at
at all.
Manchester,
You
if
guys are
I'm looking
good.
at Manchester as a whole,
Yeah.
you know, yeah, no, I mean, I worked down Mammoth Road at that CVS at one time, and yeah, I mean, the drunks, everything, like you said, the
Oh
crackheads,
no,
it'd just be like,
Manchester's fucked up, dude.
yeah, it would just, if there's one
Manchester
thing,
scares
just
me more than where I live.
I kind of agree with you. I didn't mind working in Lawrence.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, there was some moments, but overall, but either way, like if I guess if I had to choose one thing, just to have the city cleaned up, but I don't think it ever will. So let's go to a more fun or a couple, funner questions, more fun questions. And it's funny because what's your dream cinema snack? We recently talked about this.
We did.
We did,
You
and
probably know mine.
well, you know mine, and I'm going to start because mine's simple. I don't like to eat. I don't get how people, unless you're at like a Chunky's and you're sitting down and eating dinner, but I don't get how people can eat like nachos and like hot dogs while watching a movie. You're in that just a regular theater seat. I'm good with just a freaking bag of popcorn and a soda. If I had to choose a box candy, maybe Milk Duds, but like popcorn, soda, I'm
Milk
happy. And I
duds.
know, I know you're not. If I had to choose a box candy, because there's a lot of them. I don't know. There was a time I really loved Milk Duds. I just haven't had it in a long time. But that's it. I know you're not a popcorn person. That was our whole
I'm
discussion.
not.
But
No.
that's it. And my popcorn is pretty much gone by the trailers. I'm just there eating it as a board. I love it. It gives
God,
me
well, it
good.
takes an hour to get to the trailers, so.
Just it puts me in a happy place. Just back as a
Yeah.
kid, and give me the butter. I don't even care. That's it. It's a boring dream cinema snack. It's pretty much what I get. And I know it's expensive nowadays, but I don't usually just that's it. I don't need a lot of other things at the movie theaters unless it's a special, like I said, Chunkies where you're sitting down having a dinner, watching a theater, watching a movie. But yeah,
Yeah.
if it's a basic movie theater, I don't like holding too much stuff. So popcorn, soda, I'm in. That's me. What's your dream cinema snack or favorite
Yeah, I
cinema
mean,
snack?
I think I've talked about it before, but yeah, I do lean towards like nachos, and not like loaded nachos, okay, like I make at home.
Hmm.
But just some tortilla chips and some nuclear looking cheese. That like really bright yellow cheese and it's nice and warm and I'm good. My snack does never last to the movie. So
No.
usually where I switch to box candy, which my first box candy go to is always Sour Patch Kids. And I don't know if this is true or not, but I swear to God, man, Sour Patch Kids were way more sour when I was a little kid. And I was going to the movies. I don't know what. They're like way more sweet now, and I'm not a big fan of that. I like
Hmm.
when I eat Sour Patch Kids and my mouth feels like it's got 18 gajillion razor blade cuts in it. That's how I know it's quality. And then I wash that all down with like liquid sugar in the form of a root beer or a Coke or anything like that. Like that's like, what I do during the movie. But those are my snacks. If I do chocolate, which is very rare, um, although I've been doing it a lot more recently, probably say something like Goobers or peanut
Yeah.
M&Ms, just
Yeah.
because I
Yep.
like nuts in my chocolate. So yeah, but number one, definitely nachos and cheese, for
Yeah.
sure. That is
I,
I saw Lawnmower Man eating nachos and cheese in the theater for God's sakes.
Yeah, sure. That's one. Like I said, I just feel like it's such a mess. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I love nachos. I love just chips and cheese, but at a theater, I don't
Of
think
course you do.
well, who doesn't? If done right. I
Well, but
mean,
like at
I just
home though, you're gonna eat nachos while
that's
watching
what
a
I'm
movie,
saying.
you
At
know?
home, I'm just talking about sitting down in a movie theater having just nachos. I don't know. Again,
Dude,
that's
these
just
theaters
my.
are like being at home now. Like they have like reclining seats and shit like
Oh,
that.
it's
Like, every theater I go to now, and I go to the one at the Loop here. It's like first of all, you reserve your seats on a phone, like through
most
Fandango. You're just
places are
like, I
that like
want
that now. Yeah.
you're like, I want these two middle seats, and then you just go there, and then you get there, and it's like you can take the middle like arm up, and you can really recline it how you want, and it's like there's so much room in between you and the row before you. It's like you don't even know that people are really around you and stuff. Back when we were younger, it was just the movie theater was just like a bunch of rows of seats, and they were all the same level. And if somebody was sitting in front of you, well, guess what? They were just sitting in front of you. Like that's just how it was. There wasn't like the luxuries of like spacing out or anything like that we have now. But so it's a lot more easier, I guess, for me to say that you can. I don't really like Chunkies that much. I think Chunkies is way more distracting as a movie. Like if I'm going to Chunkies, I'm gonna watch something that I'm not really gonna care too much about because I'm really gonna be focused on getting pitchers of beer, which I remember they're having pitchers of beer, and then somebody coming up and whispering the order to me, and then me looking at the bill and realizing it's like $80 to $100, like for the food that I just bought. That's
Yeah.
my
No,
rant
I
about
agree. No,
Chunkies.
I agree with you. If it's a movie I want to pay attention to, usually it's always a theater. Chunkies is just and the food can be hit or miss too. But like I said, it's
Oh, of
more of
course, dude.
depending on the movie, it can just be a fun experience. I know we went to see Captain Marvel there, but um,
We
last
did.
question from Lee. You're in a fight with the last video game character you controlled. Will you win? It's funny you brought up Cloud. I am playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, so any of those Final Fantasy VII characters, even Kate Sith, is gonna maybe I have a chance against that stupid cat, but it knows magic. So no, I don't. I don't. I'm dying. I am getting killed instantly. Cloud with his big fucking Buster Sword is just gonna chop my head off. Yeah, I'm not. I'm not winning. I'm dead. I admit it. I concede defeat. So yeah, I'm playing Rebirth right now. I'm not winning. What about you?
I am so lucky in this question because I'm currently playing Disco Elysium and my main character is like a burnt out alcoholic who's trying to solve a crime and can barely even walk down the street without damaging his back. And I could absolutely beat and this is going to be a spoiler, Harry. And the reason it's a spoiler is because you kind of find out your name because like you wake up like without a memory because you've had like a drunken binge, and then you have to like piece together like where's your badge? What did you do with your badge last night? What did you do with your fucking gun? And oh, where's the car? Where's your police car at? Where did you leave it last night when you were blackout drunk? So if I had to fight Harry, I would absolutely win because I've seen him get knocked out and he'll just get damaged by morale too. So if he's sad or something sad happens, his health bar will go down. So I know for a fact that I could beat Harrier Dubois in a fight if I had to right now, and I'm very happy about that because if I had chosen V, I would absolutely die.
You're lucky. Yeah, I'm not surviving that game. So
No, dude,
I'm not
Cloud is a
surviving
fucking
against
Buster
my
Sword,
kid.
dude, and he has like I've seen his cardio, and I don't know, your cardio is pretty good,
Not as
but
good as
I've
any of
seen the
those characters. They're walking
the
around
flip
and all
stick,
those
dude. Yeah, dude. Tifa
doing
would
those
punch a
things.
fucking hole in your fucking
They
body, man.
they all would. And like I
Garrett would
said,
just
But
knock
they
you
know
out with his
magic.
gun. Yeah.
So before we get to our last set, Mel actually just joined the chat. Mel, your
Mel.
set of questions were actually the very first set we answered, so feel free to watch.
Yes.
But thank you for joining. Um, so yes, this set of questions is going to be very different. And I know I went to Twitter and I was just kind of begging, like, just give us questions. We don't care. But it's funny. I asked my daughter, and I leaned her to a certain topic. And I actually love a lot of the questions she asks. Oh, those who know, I have a soon to be 22-year-old daughter. And I said, listen, pretend I'm not your dad. If you wanted to know what life was like before 2000, what question would you ask me or someone of my age? And she thought it through. And she actually gave us a series of questions. A couple are pretty
Hmm.
funny, but there's a couple kind of really thoughtful ones, which might make us think. So, yeah, it's very interesting. Um, how this you're just thinking someone younger because I know a lot of this podcast that we've been doing, we've been making fun of breaking the internet, doing this. So these 5 questions are from my daughter. And yeah, so basically I led her just saying, what would life be like before 2000? So here's the first funny one. She's like, what was it like having $500 rent? I actually gave her the answer to this. I'm like, fuck you. I've never paid this kind of low rent. I mean, technically, when me and you lived together, Soto, we had $1,000 rent. We were each paying
Hmm.
500, but overall,
Yeah.
I've never had a $500 rent. The cheapest I can remember is 830
Yeah.
because
Me too.
I was still living with my parents through college and stuff like that. So it took me a little bit to move out. And actually, there was a time I owned my own townhouse. But for rent, I've never had the advantage of having this cheap ass rent. But yeah, I kind of just missed, the way it was. It was so cheap, easy to live. Nowadays it just sucks. I mean, I know we've talked about it, like 3 bedrooms are like 2 grand, and it's like,
Two
how can you?
grand, dude. It's like three bedrooms, like 2,500 plus, man. 2 grand. I would get one right now if it was 2 grand.
But you know what I
Like,
mean. I'm just, yeah.
Well, the thing with this question is that like you know what $500 rent was like back then? It was like what it is now. You weren't making enough money to even fucking do the $500 rent because of fucking inflation and shit. So it's like, yeah, I had $500 rent, but I was also making fucking $7 an hour.
See, I don't know because when I was 20, I was making 16, and that's why.
That's a lot for back then.
I know. And I had my mortgage was $1,000. I mean, that was it, and that wasn't including an association fee. So I don't know.
Dude,
I
that's
just,
easy
I
to
mean,
handle. That's easy to handle.
I see your point. Yeah, we were, especially my first job, I was getting paid like 480 an hour, which is different. But we were 16, and I don't know. I don't know what era a $500 rent was, but yeah, I do miss having, I do miss the days of cheaper rent. I know it's
I've
inflation.
been,
I know things come up, but I just felt like in
yeah,
the last like 10 years, everything skyrocketed. Not just last couple. It just something happened. It was like bam. But yes,
man,
it was great. It was great because you know what, I could
yeah, it
afford
was
it.
nice.
But
But
I,
fuck, dude. I mean, it's like I've been poor for so long, like, and it's pretty much, since I started living on my own. It's like I've been in situations where like I didn't eat for like months, like, or my only fucking like dinner was just eating pub mix and shit, because I was making such poor amount of money. Like when I lived in Boston, I think I was paying. So this is me living in Boston, by the way. For the room that I was living in, I was paying $800 a month, but I was making $7.25 at Blockbuster Video at Kenmore Square in Boston. And I walked 30 minutes there to work every day. It was great because I got down to 120 pounds because like I wasn't eating and I was exercising. So it was awesome. So it's like, what was it like having $500 rent? I don't know. It's like I've never known what it's like to actually afford like shit comfortably. I'm affording shit now, like, but I don't have the amenities that I would like. I don't have an in-house, like I don't have an in-unit washer and dryer for what I'm paying, and I'm paying an exorbitant amount. But the thing is, it's cheap compared to like what everything else is around here. So yeah, I don't know. I can't say that I ever enjoyed a time in my life where, I was loving how cheap my rent was because it's just the amount I was making was always like relative, so I was still poor.
yeah, as Mel just said, ramen noodles days. And I
Oh,
had
they're
a.
still here, baby. They're still here.
It's been a long time since I had ramen noodles, but that's just because of the salt and then the sodium. So,
Oh, yeah, because it takes 3 minutes to make and it's not
oh, it's
hard.
easy. It is. I think that's
It's
the
the
problem right
easiest
there.
thing.
All right. So the next question she asked, um, when this pops up, were you happier when cell phones weren't around?
Oh,
This is a mixed bag, and I get what she's trying to
strange way
ask.
to word that.
Well,
Yeah.
this is well. Here's the funny thing. When she was like 7 or 8, we were at the mall, and I was telling her life before cell phones, and I kind of joked. I said, "Yeah, there's time there's no cell phones. Everything was just a house phone, wired." And she's like, "But if you're at the mall and someone want to get a hold of you, how would they get a hold of you?" And I looked at her. I said, "Well, if I'm not hanging out with you, I didn't want to hang out with you for that day, and I'll get your
Hmm.
message when I get home." And
Right.
again, I'm talking about a 7, 8 year old. It's like, because she obviously grew up with cell phones. It's so hard for me to answer this. I think the way she's asking, because to me, cell phones have done so much. The way they've
Yeah.
evolved, especially because of the fact, like you said, you can go on the internet. Oh, if you're lost, directions. You got music, easily text. Call from wherever you are. So I don't know if I was happier with cell phones. I just didn't know better. Obviously, my first cell phone wasn't until I was 23, 24. Pretty much got one when I knew I was going to become a dad, so people can get a hold of me easier. I I don't think I was happier. It's just life was different. I mean,
Yeah.
it is kind of nice just being able to, now text, call, family, friends and stuff, just shoot a quick line. It's not like, nowadays, I don't know, just wait to get the house phone, call you about a Rotten Taste episode. Like, what do you think about this? And you can get back to me whenever you want. So I don't think happier is the right word. It's definitely different. Um, but I didn't, you just kept in touch with your friends. You kept in touch with more with your neighborhood friends. I know nowadays you make more, school and stuff like that, but the people in your neighborhood or who you kind of stuck around with for your up until junior high because they were in distance. You're not going across the city. You can't contact anyone. So I don't know if I was
Yeah.
happier. I would say it's same. It was just a little bit different. So what about
You know,
any,
yeah, I'm kind of on the same wavelength. I don't really know, like, happier is the word for it. Because I think it's a little bit more complex about whether cell phones are around or not. I mean, things are definitely much more convenient. And I do like having the internet around, even though I fucking hate it. Because you can ask, like, if you have any question about anything now, you just pull up your phone and you're like, there's the answer right there. So it's like you're connected to the information now. Um, the world's a lot smaller, like, so you don't lose touch from people anymore if you're on
yep.
social media at least,
That
like
might be coming
Facebook
up
and
in a
shit
little
like
bit.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's interesting. Although I disconnected from Facebook about 12 years ago. They're actually probably 14 years ago now. And it's kind of nice. So I don't know. Happier? It's weird. It's weird. I think that cell phones have done a lot of, not really cell phones, but just kind of the idea of what they represent now. Because I feel that people are all about taking pictures of what they're doing and being on and taking videos of what they're doing and, like, for example, we talked about the eclipse and it's like all about, like, getting it on social media and taking pictures of it. So it's like, I don't know, like, you go to a restaurant, right? You eat food and you talk about shit. Now it's like you go to a restaurant, the first thing is it's like, oh, got to take the first round of pictures. Oh, okay, I got to do this. Okay, I got to show what's up. It's like, I don't know. It just seems like being present feels a lot better than back then than what cell phones were. But we didn't even know what being present was back then, and we still really don't. Um, but I think that there's a lot of annoying stuff. When I went to Post Malone, in particular, I saw just nothing but young people just taking pictures of themselves in the area, and it was all about these photo shoots, like, constantly. So, but I'm not an old man that hates on the next generation because that's literally every generation that has ever occurred, and obviously generations coming forward, they'll always, like, kind of hate the next one coming up too. So that's their thing. I just don't understand it. But yeah, I guess to just wrap it up, I'd probably just say that I was just kind of the same.
So yeah, a couple people in chat. Madness says his pockets were heavier, needing carried change for phone booths. Not many kids today know what a phone booth is. Uh, and
How much
yes, no,
change were you carrying? How many phone calls were you making? My God, man.
I don't know. Madness might be able to get lost. Who knows? But yeah, Mel's like, yeah, sometimes people need to unplug, and that's true. I mean, sometimes you just need to, like Soto said, kind of just be in the moment a little bit. Though I know I laugh at the fact that he said take pictures of food because I think about a conversation last podcast or so when we were talking about Louis, and we're like, we need to go review this as a joke, and if we go review it, we have to take pictures just because it's got to be here. But we're doing it for a
Yeah.
stupid reason. But yeah, we're going to be
Yes.
taking pictures, so now we're hypocrites. But there's a
Yes.
reason. So, but
Yeah, we're
yeah,
gonna be lying in that video, for God's sake. We're making a video. All right, spoiler alert, everyone. We're gonna be lying in that video. So before,
well,
when
it's
the
my first
comments
time
blow
with
up,
Louis, and what it will be my gut reaction. You've been there. My daughter's even. I just grown up in Nashua, and I've never eaten there though. It's been there since the dawn of time. So
we're
whenever we
gonna
get
we're
to it,
gonna we're gonna make we're gonna make some statements that may or may not be true.
oh
So
my god, the
so
hilarity of it.
it's for the ha-has.
Yes, pretty much. So. So speaking about social media, she did
Oh
ask,
man,
were your relationships with girlfriends, boyfriends healthier when social
no,
media wasn't a thing?
no,
Uh,
no, just no, just no.
what do you mean by no? You mean it's the same, it's the worst, or just
It's
you're
the
saying
same,
no?
dude. The same fucking bullshit problems having relationships whether
This
you
is
have a
true.
fucking phone or not. I think that it's a little bit more modern now with social media and, like, the bullshit that people send each other now. But it's the same fucking problems over and over again. It's the same fucking shit over and over again. Now you just have phone. I used to have a pager. Okay, I don't know if anybody knows what a pager is, like, and I used to have stuff with that too. But boyfriends, girlfriends, it's the same shit, regardless of what the fuck the generation is.
I do think there is a lot of shit regardless, especially when you're growing up. Because if I look at it, when we were dating in high school or not, there was no fucking social media. And now we're just old. We're like, well, who cares? We don't live our, romantic lives on social media. We kind of are like the opposite ends. But at the same time, so before social media, you break up with someone, odds are, unless they went to the same school, you're really not going to see them again. Social
Oh
media,
yeah,
they're
that's a good
always
point.
going to be there, and that
Ew.
reminder. So the actual relationship, it's the same to me. You're right because when you're in a relationship, you love someone, blah blah blah, or like someone again. If you're in high school, it doesn't matter. You're in it with that person, and with or without social media, you're doing pictures and whatnot. I think the after effects are different. It's not easy to break up regardless of what
Mm-hmm.
happens or social. I just think now with social media, there's going to be a lot more reminders for those who have bad breakups. And listen, kids, time heals old wounds. You're going to get over it. Yes,
Kids.
it is hard, but no, but they think because we've done it when we were in high school and we broke up with someone at like in the moment. If someone broke up, we're like, oh God, life is over. Like I'm talking about that age. But as you get older, yes, it sucks. To break. But then you're like, okay, it will get better. I'll get past this and I'll, work on me. And then the next person in my life will come kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing. You just don't know when.
Yeah.
So my point being is, I think in the moment, I think it's the same. It's just kind of different. But I think the after effects, if the breakup part, if that happens, and again, I'm more talking about the younger generation. I'm not talking about us old man shit, but the younger generation because so much is out there now in social, whether Facebook, Instagram, whatever the other fuck shit I don't even know that I don't even have is. You're going to get the constant
Snapchat.
reminders. Sure, there we go. Thank you. I mean, but you know what I mean.
You know
I
you don't
think
have a
I
snap
think
face?
I could no. I don't have face snap face. Graham snapagram,
Oh man, this is
mediagram,
an old
pizzagram.
this is an old man podcast. I thought it was like a wrestling podcast, but now it's turning into an old
It's
man
whatever
podcast.
podcast we want in the moment. Just whatever.
Mm,
So what do we say in the beginning? What's on our mind? So, but yeah,
yeah.
that would be my answer. I think during the relationship, you're in the moment, and if you're happy, no matter what, social media or not, I think it's the same. Whatever you put in, you get out of it. I think at the after effects, though, there's a lot more stupid reminders, and that can be harder on some kids. So, Soto, I'm giving you this question because I already know this answer, and I'm gonna. You
You
know why I'm giving you
experienced
this
it.
first. This is the funniest fucking thing in the world because I know
Oh
how you are with
no.
directions. This is why I'm going to have you answer first. How is driving without a GPS?
Oh
Soto,
man.
how is driving? What did you do in the days before GPS?
Well, let me tell you, there's one of two ways that I do this. One is there was this place called MapQuest. I don't even know if it's still around. And I would, if I was going to go somewhere new that I did not know about, I would print up the directions from MapQuest, which would be like, I don't know, like 3 to 4 pages, and bring that with me in my car, and then drive from MapQuest on my car, like just while holding it and driving and being like, okay, the next turn is going to be this, and just kind of hoping and praying that I would get there. Or the second way of doing this, which was the more like ridiculous way of how I lived my life, was I would just kind of go by feeling and what I thought I was. So I have no spatial awareness of where I usually am in reality. And so this is best demonstrated on how I tried to get to. We have a amusement park over here called Canopy Lake. I live 20 minutes away from Canopy Lake. And when I was taking my wife on one of our first like dates to Canopy Lake, um, I decided to just kind of wing it. And when I winged it, she was like, "Oh no, it's that way." And I said, "No, it feels like it's this way." Okay. It took me 2 hours to get to Canopy Lake. Canopy Lake is only 20 minutes away. It's probably an exit up. But for some reason in my mind, I kept feeling like it was north of where I was. So I kept going north. And so I passed it way, way, way long time ago. By the time I got there, it was closed. That is just one example of how I just am when it comes to driving. It's like a neurodivergency thing. I am so grateful for GPS now because I can get to places on the times that I mean to get there. Because before then, honestly, I've done circles in Boston and I could not figure out how to get out of Boston to the point where I had a panic attack because I thought I was going to have to live forever in my car in Boston because I couldn't get out. So life was very scary for me
Before
before
GPS.
GPS. And scary for the people that I love because these people have to be around me and they don't understand that I have a mental disability that prevents me from understanding what direction I am going in.
So yeah, my answer is the same as you because I started driving. When I started driving, the internet was just becoming a thing. I mean, more so in households. And yes, I went to MapQuest. That's exactly my answer. I printed up step by step. I've driven from Minnesota to New Hampshire and back, and I have not those directions decided. It's like okay, when I get to Ohio, I need to make sure I find this or whatever steps there were.
Hmm.
For people before that time, you just had hardcore maps, just plain and simple maps, and you just in your head, you're like, all right, right here, left here. Thank God, thank friggin' God for GPS though. It's so easy. I mean, thank
Yes.
you. Like I said, I
And it's
mean,
on your cell phone. Oh,
it is
even
on your
better.
cell phone. No matter what, you can just plug it in, give directions, and you're gone. So I just know how bad you are with directions. I'm not saying I'm great. I just don't think I
Oh
wing it. If I
no.
don't know where I'm going, I'm like, I don't care. I don't even care if I've been to here. Sometimes when I go to my mom's house, I'm like, oh, it's been a few months. Let me just make sure I don't miss the turn, and I'll still plug that in. Um, but yes, thank God there is a GPS for me. So
Well, Chad, like, Obi-Wan Kenobi told me to use the Force, okay? And so
Soto, we're not in a
I'm going
simulation.
to
That's
use the
not real.
Force.
Right.
Okay, I'm gonna trust my gut. I'm trust my yeah. Well, the point is that yes, I'm not in a simulation. So when I use the Force, it doesn't actually work at all. I end up nowhere near where I was supposed to go.
Yeah. Yeah. That's not good. Don't use the force when you don't know where you're going. All right. So before we get to the final question from my daughter, Lee, thank you for joining us. We are doing great.
Lee,
We only have basically one question left, and then we got to go record something real quick, and then we're going to be playing some Helldivers
yeah,
2 with Mel and Tengu.
hell
We are going to be
yeah,
talking about the new Roadhouse. Um, we've been kind of spoiling, yeah, the
Roadhouse.
2024. So, but
Oh,
Lee, we are doing good.
Roadhouse.
But the last question from my daughter, and basically the last question of this podcast right now, simple: was the world more peaceful before 2000, before all this life? When we were younger, what do you think? Would you say was the world more peaceful? Back then when we were growing up compared to nowadays?
I mean, I don't know, dude. Like growing up in the 80s and growing up in the 90s, we definitely it's been constant like war going on everywhere. Um I think it's more to go back to social media and phone thing. It's way more like in your face now.
Correct.
The things that are going on around the world. Everything that happens around the world is like immediately on like social media on somebody's phone. So people are capturing way more shit now. Before we used to have to rely on the news. Um, for everything before the internet like came on. But the
Yeah.
world was still like,
Fucked
there
up.
were still
Parts of it.
governments being overthrown. There was still violence. It just wasn't covered as much. So, no, the world I don't think was any more peaceful than it is now. I think it's just much more like aware of itself as far as what's going on. There's peaceful parts of the world, but yeah, there's a lot of shit going on right now. But the shit that's been going on right now has been building for years and years and years.
And I think if there's anything, like you said, no matter the times, from where we're growing up, even from before, before them, shit is always happening.
Always.
I just think if there is a difference when we were younger without the internet and all that shit, I think we might have been more peaceful just because we were unaware as kids, because a lot of things was shielded from us.
Oh,
Because
definitely.
whereas now, even the same kids nowadays, there's just like I said, so much more ways to get information that they see a lot more shit.
I love
Um,
that.
so there, yeah.
I
So
love
I
that.
mean, if there's anything, it might have been more peaceful in our minds, but overall, no. I hate to say it like this. Just there's a lot of life that sucks, but that's why you need to make the best of what's around you and what's there,
Hmm.
because no matter what, yeah, like you said, there has always been war. It doesn't matter the era, and
No, of course
unfortunately,
not.
I know people hope for world peace, and God forbid, yeah, that'd be great, just never going to happen. And I'm sorry, I hate to sound cynical. We just know there's always going to be something or someone. But like I said, I mean, the best thing I can say is no. It's been the same. It's just we may have been more unaware as children, like you said, because we didn't have all that information in front of our face that kids have now, which can be a
Hmm.
good thing, as long as parents teach them and let them know, how to handle that situation. Because that would have blown my 6-year-old, 7-year-old mind. So yeah,
Hmm.
no, I think that's kind of where I stand on it. Like, I think it is the same like you. I just think, as kids, because we didn't really watch the news, that was our parents' thing and stuff like that. So that's just my
As,
opinion. I could be wrong.
I mean,
Um,
as long as there's a profit to be made from wars happening, it will continue.
yeah,
So, you know what I mean? And even what's going on now is like there's there are companies that are making money off of that.
definitely. All
And,
right. Well,
so
oh,
there you go. There's that we can there's that note. We got to get on a serious episode of the Soto and Chad show.
oh, do we
Talk
have
about
serious
world
episodes?
peace.
World peace. But anyhow,
World peace, everyone.
but yes, thank you for all those who were listening, who joined and gave us questions
Yes.
and all that other fun stuff. We appreciate it. It was kind of a fun episode, and like we do with a lot of our podcasts, we will eventually break this up, and so that way people who might not have seen this or want to see certain parts, it will eventually be out there. But thank you for those in chats. Thank you for those in
Yes, thank
questions.
you.
It was fun. But yeah, right now we are, as we've been teasing, we're going to be recording the 2024 Roadhouse podcast off air. And then in a little bit after that, we were going to be playing Helldivers 2 on Twitch with Mel and Tengu. So we're going to get into some
Yeah.
shenanigans over there in a little bit. So, but yeah, thank you for
Yeah.
coming. We appreciate you guys joining us as usual, chat. And yeah, all I got to say is thank you, to world peace.
To world peace, everyone.